Check, yes, Juliet, are you with me? Rain is falling down on the sidewalk. I won't go until you come outside. Check, yes, Juliet, cue the limbo. I'll keep tossing rocks at your window. There's no turning back for us tonight. Lace up your shoes, ayo, ayo, oh, here's how we do. Run, baby, run, don't ever look back. They'll tear us apart if you give them the chance. Don't sell your heart, don't say we're not meant to be. Run, baby, run, forever we'll be you and me. Check, yes, Juliet, I'll be waiting, wishing, wanting yours for the taking. Just sneak out and don't tell us all goodbye. Check, yes, Juliet, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, now fall in my arms now. They can change the locks, don't let them change your mind. Lace up your shoes, ayo, ayo, oh, here's how we do. Run, baby, run, don't ever look back. They'll tear us apart if you give them the chance. Don't sell your heart, don't say we're not meant to be. Run, baby, run, forever we'll be you and me. You and me. High. The view from here is getting better with you by my side. Run, baby, run, don't ever look back. They'll tear us apart if you give them the chance. Don't sell your heart, don't say we're not meant to be. Run, baby, run, forever we'll be you and me.
Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in my van every Sunday. She tells me she's in church, but she doesn't go till she's on her knees. And Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Fiona says she's out shopping, but she's under me and I'm not stopping. Scotty doesn't know.
A classic. Good morning. Hello. Right on time. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Thank you very much for watching Towel News. It's 7:21 a.m. This is just a breakfast stream leading up to the Department of War's press conference, which is going to be taking place, roughly at the top of the hour. It's so nice to see you all. How have you been? It's 7:21 a.m. as I mentioned, which would make it, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1:21 p.m. in South Africa, which would be 2:21 p.m. in Tel Aviv, Israel, and thus 2:51 p.m. in Tehran, Iran. It is, of course, Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Good morning. How are you? My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Welcome to Towel News. There has been quite a series of developments overnight. They began with the yesterday, which would be Monday. Early morning, U.S. time, later morning in the Middle East. America attacked America said they were 6 Iranian fast boats. Iran says they were 2 Iranian commercial ships. America says 12 IRGC people died. Iran says 5 fishermen died. What the truth is anybody's guess. That's the fog of war. Now, hello, Motorhead. So good to see you. You are on the money there, Motorhead. Now, let me continue along here. All right, so yesterday, in response to this, immediately afterwards, Iran proceeded to launch 6 or 7 waves of attacks against the UAE. All of those waves hit. They were very intense. There were bombs that landed in Dubai, in the port. There were bombs that landed in Fujihara, which I might be pronouncing wrong, the oil industrial area, one of the most important oil export facilities. It's actually the port, I believe, that the UAE uses. It has a 7 million gallon per day pipeline to ship oil underground, overground, whatever you want to say, that avoids the Strait of Hormuz. So when Iran strikes the UAE, they not only close or hit the oil ports and close the strait, but they also will hit that one southern UAE port. UAE is like a weird kind of like northward facing diamond or triangle, and on the southern tip of it near Oman, there's this one port that can be used to ship oil across the country north to south, which evades Iran's blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, hence the bombing at that specific port yesterday. There were 7 waves of attacks, though, by the UAE. Now, in response, Mr. President gave a very baffling press conference with the Pawn Stars guy. It wasn't much of substance. However, there was an interview of substance very late at night after we went to bed. We're going to listen to a little bit of it now. It was on the Hugh Hewitt show. I don't know what network this is even on, but the president called in, so it's newsy, and we're going to listen to it. Good morning, Petty LaBelle. So good to see you. We're going to listen to it, and then I will also get you updated. There is some activity this morning. There were 2 American refuelers, C-130s, I think, or transport planes, probably refuelers, that Squawk 7700, which is the emergency code. One of the refuelers went off radar over the Strait of Hormuz about 2 hours ago. Another one started squawking the emergency code on its transponder within, I'd say, the last 10 minutes. I don't know where that one went. I really don't. Now, I'm going to show you as well some updates today from Russia and Ukraine where the intensity... So overnight, just so you understand, the Ukrainians are making a stand. They've started releasing videos that are almost as good, if not better, than some of the Iranian videos. I would like to show you all the Ukrainians vis-a-vis President Vladimir Zelensky. They have these things called Flamingo missiles. Now, I don't really know what the hell a Flamingo missile is. I'm not a cruise missile expert, but what I do know is that Ukraine has joined the propaganda war. I would like to show you now the latest from the Ukrainian president, Vladimir Zelensky, after last night's strikes in Russia. This is what President Zelensky had to say this morning. I don't know what these Flamingo missiles are. Well, I do know, actually. They go 1,500 kilometers. They have very advanced GPS-guided technology. They have a 3-stage rocket that facilitates their targeting systems, and also its ability to travel over a course of 4 hours. So let's take a listen to what President Zelensky had to say.
Conversation. Our long-range sanctions continue to provide an entirely just
Sanctions.
response to Russian strikes. Last night, combat launches of F-5 Flamingo cruise missiles were carried out as part of the Armed Forces Deep Strike operation against several enemy targets, including military-industrial complex facilities in Cheboksary. The Ukrainian Flamingos covered a distance of more than 1,500 kilometers. The military production facility that was targeted produced relay protection systems, automation systems, and low-voltage equipment. The plant supplied navigation components for the Russian Navy, the missile industry, aviation, and armored vehicles. Everything that the Russians are using in the war against us, against Ukraine. Russia must end its war and turn to real diplomacy. We have made our proposal clear. Glory to Ukraine. Our long-range sanctions continue to act entirely justly in response to Russian strikes.
I know.
Conversation.
I know.
Our long-range sanctions continue to provide an
but-
entirely just response to Russian strikes.
Don't make me refresh the page. So I'm going to show you the latest from President Zelensky. This was released in the past hour. This was footage of these Flamingo missiles launching. Hello, Nikki Towel, girlfriend Towel. How are you doing? You are wonderful and beautiful and adorable. Here's the latest from Ukraine. Well, those are intense. Rigel, good to see you, sir. Rigel says these are German tech. Well, let me just say these flamingos are some intense missiles. I'm not a ballistic missile expert. I'll be the first to tell you that. I'm more of like a geopolitical expert. I'm like a trained political scientist. I've been to law school, but I'm not a lawyer. I'm not by any means a ballistic missile expert. I can tell you things like what is the range of a missile, what type of fuel does it use, is it solid or liquid fuel, what type of warhead does it have on it, what are the types of impact, how fast does it go. Now that I think about it, I guess I know a little bit about ballistic missile technology just from covering the war. I have to rethink whether or not I can continue using this excuse that I don't know anything about ballistic missiles whenever there's a missile I don't know anything about. I'm not sure that's going to fly, Towel. All right, here's the latest. This is one of the Ukrainian drone strikes. This was not, I'm not sure if this was a Flamingo strike. I think there was a Flamingo strike in Cheboksary, Russia earlier today, but this is a drone strike just maybe an hour, 45 minutes ago from Ukraine on Russia. That is indeed a drone strike. I'll show you the full screen now. High standing stones. You know, there was a new video released yesterday in Munstan. I think I might have to go back in the archive just for my friend in Munstan. It was maybe 24 hours ago in Munstan, but I'm going to go find it for you. And you might be saying, well, that's not that big of a deal, Towel. You can just go back and get it. Well, yeah, but I'm not sure if you realize how much Towel posts on his feed in 24 hours. Okay, there's a lot of stuff there. Good luck trying to follow Towel's feed on X. You want information? Okay, I'll give you information, all right? it's a lot of information. I mean, like on a scale of 1 to 12, it's like a 70. All right, but I think I remember. I got this specifically for Inmanstan, so I'm gonna find it. The Blood Guardians did release a new video. You have a wonderful day, my dear friend. Water under the fridge. It was so good to see you. I'm gonna send you all sorts of positive vibes. You're gonna have a great day. I know it. It's gonna be wonderful. Hashtag great day with Towel. And we will see you, of course, later today. The wonderful Water under the fridge. Please do a great job guarding the Great Lakes from communist and Iranian infiltration, and also save the goats. And we'll think about freeing Unhurried, although I'm not sure. All right, I'm going to show you now the video I got from my friend Inmanstan. Now, you might be saying, Grant, are you sure we're going to go back to yesterday so you can show Inmanstan a pirate video? Yes. I love the pirates. Hello, Kanapi. Everybody loves the pirates. Now, Inmanstan happens to think that the Mujahideen for the Islamic Resistance in Iraq, the Blood Guardians, are pirates. I don't really think they're pirates. I think they just have nice music, okay? But when Inmanstan says that they want pirate music, they mean one thing. They want the new Blood Guardians video. Now, we don't get too many Blood Guardians videos nowadays, and you may be saying to yourself, Grant, you have been scrolling this feed for, at this point, I'd say, 6 minutes, and you still haven't gotten to yesterday. I know. I understand. I'm well aware there's a bit of an information overload on Towel's Twitter. You may just want to consider that. You're just going to drown in information. Water under the fridge says free Unhurried and Razor and Chep. Water under the fridge, the true voice of the voiceless. I want this video for Inmanstan. I will not rest until I get it, my friend. Inmanstan likes the Blood Guardian videos, and I'm gonna find it. I will not be deterred. I am on a mission. We can listen to Mr. President Trump at 2x speed if we have to, all in the name of finding Inmanstan, the pirate video. Hashtag pirate video. I'm gonna find it, my dear friend. I will not give up. I will not be deterred. I'm gonna do this. Where's the damn pirate video? Come on, pirate video. I don't remember who posted it. It was a long time ago. I meant to show it to you yesterday, Inmanstan. Oh, this is not good. I really post way too much. Oh, this is a lot of information. This is only like a day of information. We've been going for at least, oh goodness, I don't know, 10 minutes. This is a lot. I didn't realize how much I post. I should really consider this. Okay, hold on. Now let me just scroll very quickly. Let me see. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. I want the one about the Islamic resistance in Iraq. Come on now. I know I posted it. Come on now. Come on. We have till 8 a.m. before the press conference starts anyway, and all we're going to do is listen to Mr. President on 1.5x speed. I am going to find this damn video if my life depends on it. I wanted to play it for Inmanstan. How dare you? Where is it? Nope, that wasn't it. Nope, that wasn't it. Nope. Oh, goodness. It sucks when you just want to find one damn video. I can always go find it while we're listening to Mr. President Trump's video, but I expect better from myself, frankly. Come on, Towel. I was certain that it posted yesterday. That's how fast I'm reading, by the way. When you see that scroll... Oh, is that it? Nope, that was the Fujihara government office. That was the plane crashing in Brazil. That was the drone in Moscow. Come on, where is it? I object. That was the strike in Fujihara. That was also the strike in Fujihara. That was Trey Yingst on Fox News. That was President Trump posting on social media. That was the alerts in UAE. That was the stock market. That was the Abu Dhabi sirens. That was Trey's follow-up report. Where is it? That was the ship that was on fire in the Emirates. That was the Handela hack announcement. That was the launch video from the IRGC. That was the plane in Colombia. That was the streets of Iran. That was the attacks in Dnipro. Where is it? I object. I'm going to find it. Otherwise, we're just going to watch the video of Mr. President Trump. I refuse to be deterred. I object. Nope. I object. All right, let's just watch the video. We'll just watch the video of President Trump.
I'm joined now by the President of the United States. President Trump, welcome back. Always a pleasure to talk to you. I was filling people in.
This was the president's interview last night.
On the fact that you offered very nicely Project Freedom. The Iranians started firing off like Yosemite Sam at UAE and everybody. So I gather, are we at the beginning of the end of a new war? Are we starting over?
Well, one way or the other, we win. We either make the right deal or we win very easily from the military standpoint. We've already won that. You've heard me say it a million times, and other people say it. They had 159 ships. Now they have none. They're all at the bottom of the sea. Today we took out 8 of their, they're reduced to these small little fast ships.
Right.
They're very cheap, and they attach a machine gun to it. They think that's good. We knocked out 8 of them today. And everyone that was available got knocked out very quickly and very efficiently. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, it's hard to believe that they would do that. The one ship that was hit was, and I haven't seen it in a little while because I was with the Small Business Owners of America for the last 2 hours. We're having a good time. They're doing fantastic. Everybody's doing fantastically, all businesses right now in the country. Stock market's at a new high despite this. But I will say that one way or the other, we have one thing. They will never have a nuclear weapon.
Now, Mr. President, you've killed a lot of their leaders. Do you think you have to kill the D team as well? Because we're down to the D team or the E team or the X team. I don't even know who's running the country. Do you have to wipe them out?
Well, let's see what happens. I mean, a lot of people aren't really looking for that job. We knocked out their first team, we knocked out their second team, we knocked out half of their third team. A lot of people aren't looking for that job, but I find them to be far superior than the first group. Okay, the first group was totally out of control and was doing the wrong thing for their country. But I think we'll see what happens. The one thing I will say is they talk a lot differently when they're talking to me than they talk when they're talking to the media or the television set. It's a lot different.
Their propaganda is terrible. Now I'm talking to Ambassador Oren.
They're looking to do a job, and they get on television. They say the exact opposite. Do you remember I was telling you that they want to make a deal, that they talk, and they deny?
We're having some buffering. We're having some buffering on AirTowel. I'm going to wait for it to stabilize here. We're having some buffering on AirTowel. Thank you for your patience while we deal with this slight buffering on AirTowel. There's no reason for it. Just some frame drops. So I'm going to wait for it to stabilize. Thank you for tuning in to AirTowel. Thank you for flying AirTowel, and apologies for any turbulence.
Not ever talking to me, and I say, what's going on over here? These guys, so they're pretty good at propaganda, I guess, but they have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft, they have no nothing.
You've done a good job crushing them. I was talking with Ambassador Oren, used to represent Israel, the United States. Yeah. I said, I'm going to talk to the president. What do you want me to say to him? He said, tell him to finish the job. He'll be a world historical figure. He will be up there with the greats if he takes out this regime. Do you see it that way?
Well, a lot of people have said that. A lot of very smart people. A lot of semi-moderate people have said that. Others would like to see a deal because, it's a travesty when you do that, when you go that far. We've taken out much of what we'd have to do, probably another 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And time is not of the essence for us. I'll say to you as a very, very highly respected guy, a lot of people think, I want to do it for the midterms. I think, I made a speech the other day in front of great senior citizens, unbelievable, thousands and thousands of them. And the thing that got the biggest, and then I went to Kravis Center and said the same thing in Palm Beach, a different kind of a group of people. Both of them, the thing that got the biggest hand, and you may have seen it on television, was when I said Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
That was big. The bigger was when you said these people are lunatics, because they are.
I wanted to be nice. I actually said these lunatics will not have a. Yeah. I wanted to be a little bit nicer. I wanted to clean up my act a little bit. But I said these lunatics will not have a nuclear weapon. Well, now I know you were watching. That's
Oh, yeah, well, that's who they are. I have got grandkids. I understand the stakes. These people cannot, they're fanatics. They cannot have nuclear weapons. You think the country understands the stakes, Mr. President?
Well, I think they do because, again, this was a pretty big sample. I'll bet we had 40,000 people outside of the room where I was speaking, where we had, I guess it holds 5,000 or 6,000 people, and then they had another room that was packed of equal size, and they had thousands of people outside. They all went crazy when I said, and now I said no tax on tips. I said no tax on Social Security for our seniors, no tax on overtime. And, that was great. But this blew it away. And then I see these fake polls that 32% of the public wants, meaning a lot more don't want. And I think they probably the way they, I could ask this question a lot of different ways, but if you just said, to protect our country, to protect the world. I mean, look, the Middle East, Israel in the Middle East would be wiped out within the first hour that they had it.
Correct.
And the Iran nuclear deal that was given to us by Barack Hussein Obama, that was a shortcut to a nuclear weapon. And we would not have been able to live with that. They would have used it.
The JCPOA was a guarantee. It was a guarantee that they would get a weapon. Mr. President, I want to talk about red lines.
Yes,
one of your red lines is they have to renounce having their nuclear ambition. Do we have to get back the highly enriched uranium? Is that a red line for a deal?
Yes, we do.
Do they have to cap their missile production?
And by the way, from a standpoint of value, it's not very valuable. Probably can't be used. They may not be able to get it because, despite they love to say, maybe these great pilots.
He's wrong. They absolutely can use it. Uranium, first of all, they have uranium in their land. They can just mine more. Second of all, he's wrong. Unless you hit the centrifuge while it's spinning, which they did not, you can just go recover it. Even if you blow up the centrifuge, the uranium deposits just go back into the soil. He's wrong. And this whole thing is nonsensical. Because it doesn't matter if you take away the uranium they already enriched. They can just mine more uranium. Have you looked on Old Combs Road to the south of Tehran, between Tehran and Combs? Right south of the Fador nuclear enrichment power plant? Oh wow, there's uranium mines. It's almost like there's uranium naturally in this oil. Hello, Robson. We have an 8 a.m. Eastern, that's 19 minutes from now, press conference with our favorite, the Secretary of War. Now, back to President Trump's most recent interview overnight, which we missed because I was sleeping. Oh, I'm so sorry, oh sweet nothing, but it is great to wake up with you this morning, and I will pray for you that you get relief from those. And God bless you, my dear friend. I'm so glad to see you this morning.
Didn't do their job. In the dead of night, at 1 o'clock in the morning with no moon, every single bomb went down those air shafts. It's the most incredible. Totally, I use the word obliterated, and the Atomic Energy Commission agreed with me. So people don't even know if you can get it. And by the way, if they could have gotten it, they would have gotten it. That was one of the great military maneuvers ever.
I agree. It's glowing dust,
Venezuela.
but I'd like to get it back so that they can't be tempted. Is that part of your red lines? They got to
Yes,
give that
it
back
is.
to
No, we want it back. We want it back.
How about,
100%.
is it a red line that they have to cap their missile program and have intrusive inspections?
Yeah,
Because
but
I don't trust
you
them.
you have to look a little bit like at the neighbors. They can't have less than, they say, well, what about other people? Look, missiles are bad, but yeah, and they do have to cap it. But this is about they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Oh, well, that's number one. But what about proxy? They can't keep feeding Hamas and Hezbollah
Well,
and the
they're not going
Houthis.
to, because right now, if we left today, it would take them 20 years to build back their country, and it can never be the same. So if we left today. But, they have a problem coming up because they have it's a very explosive situation in a lot of different ways. Their oil, when you turn off the oil underground, and the mechanical too, but underground has a tendency in like almost 100% of the cases to literally explode and just destroy everything around it. And you can never get that oil again. In other words, you could get...
Mr. President told us on April 25th, 2026, that Iran would last 3 days before their wells started exploding. That never happened.
back 30 to 40%, but it can never be like it is right now. It does tremendous damage to the oil system in a country if that happens.
Now,
And
Mr. President, last time you were on...
They've run out of areas for storage.
Oh, yeah.
And they say that in 2 weeks, when they talk about time, in 2 weeks they're going to have a natural explosion of their oil that's going to make it impossible for them to really recover from.
They need a deal. Now, last time you were on, you said to the people of Iran, stay the course, help is on the way, but they murdered 40,000 of them.
Yeah.
Do you want the people of Iran to come out yet? Do you want them to stay inside?
Well, look, the problem is that you can't. If you have 5 people with a gun and 250,000, the 5 people with a gun, assuming it shoots fast enough, which they do, the 5 people they're going to win. They don't have weapons. They lost 42,000 to be exact. 42,000 people in about a 2-week. Protesters, innocent, unarmed protesters. They killed the wrestler. He's actually a world-class wrestler.
Yep.
They killed him and his 2 friends. They hung him from a crane in the square.
Well, they're lunatics.
So we're not dealing with, your typical people. Despite all of that, we've obliterated their military. Literally. Now, they may have built up a little bit over there. The one bad thing about a ceasefire is you can build up a little bit. We'll knock that out. We know everything they've done. We'll knock that out in the first.
Is the ceasefire over, Mr. President? Is it over? We're going to hit them tonight?
Well, I can't tell you that.
All right, that's fine.
You wouldn't. If I answered that question, you'd say this man is not smart enough to be leading the United States of America.
Got to
But
ask
I
anyway.
appreciate the
Got to ask.
question.
Mr. President, I'm very disappointed in Europe. I'm a big Atlanticist. I'm very disappointed in Europe. I'm glad you're taking the trips out of Germany.
Yep.
However, I'm very encouraged by Zelensky. President Zelensky sent the UAE all their anti-drone stuff. You feel better about Zelensky now?
Well, first of all, we have great drone stuff, and we have great anti-drone stuff. When he offered
The answer to this is yes. Ukraine has shown incredible resilience. They've become self-sufficient, and their drone exports are now helping us in the Middle East. We are thrilled to have Ukraine as a partner. That's the answer.
he's a tricky person. He's a tricky guy, and we want to get a settlement. And they are losing territory, but it's at a big cost to Russia and to them. And I like Zelensky. I've always sort of gotten along with him, other than the one moment in the White House, which I thought was a little aggressive on his behalf. The Oval Office. That I'm sure you perhaps remember.
But I will Vice President.
Look,
Yep.
Biden gave him $350 billion worth of money and equipment and everything else, which is.
Yeah, and you know what President Zelensky did with that money? President Zelensky created one of the best drone defense industries in the world, to the point where Gulf states, which are the brokers of most of the world's money. You're not making a good point here, Mr. President.
Ridiculous that he did that, but he did it. But and I sell them equipment full course. We sell it to the European Union. We sell it to NATO basically, and they give it out. I will say this: they fight, because whether the equipment's great or less than great, they are able to fight. And
They're better than any of our NATO allies.
They've held it back for for a long
they're
time.
better than anybody in Europe in this fight. At least they're helping.
Well, Europe has been very disappointing, and one of the things that came out of our skirmish with Iran, I think, is that NATO wasn't there for us. We spend trillions of dollars over a relatively short period of time on NATO. There was a time before I got here, we were paying for 100% the cost of NATO, not 80, not 50. We were paying for 100%. Now they pay more, and they also pay for we no longer lose money because they have the money. I said, you have to pay for it. You buy missiles, you have to pay for it. They pay for it. They probably then give it over to Ukraine to use, and Ukraine uses them well. But it turned out to be a paper tiger. And when we needed NATO, you have to remember, I hope you remember, you got a lot of people listening and watching your show. I hope you remember, when we needed NATO, they were not there for us.
Oh, I'm not going to forget that.
And
That's
if we have
why.
a bigger case, if we have the big one, and hopefully we never will have the big one. I'm going to the big one very soon, but and I look forward to it. I have a very good relationship with President Xi. But if we ever have the big one or a bigger one, I don't believe they'd be there for us.
By the way, the Iranian foreign minister is going to Beijing right now. He's on a plane. President Trump's going May 13th. The Iranian foreign minister just left Tehran and is having his own trip now to get ahead of President Trump.
No, you're going to China. Let's talk about that, Mr. President. You've had this back and forth with Pope Leo. I wish Pope Leo would talk about Jimmy Lai. You talk about Jimmy Lai with the chairman. Will you be bringing him up again?
I will. I brought him up, and there's a lot of there's a little bitterness, I would say, with him and Jimmy Lai. He was Hong Kong was not as easy, but I will be bringing.
I wish
him
the
up.
Pope would. I want the Pope to talk. He's from Chicago. He's got to learn a few things. He's from Chicago. Let me ask you about China. What do you want out of this trip with the chairman?
So he's coming here in November or so, and we have a very good relationship. We're adversaries, but we have a very good relationship. When I took over, China was just ripping us like nobody's ever seen, and now it's the opposite. I mean, we're doing very nicely with China, but we do have a very strong relationship, and I think it's better to get along with China than it is to fight with China, and they feel the same thing. And don't kid yourself, they watched what happened in Venezuela. They watched what happened in Iran, because militarily, Iran is essentially over. You understand? I mean,
they're beaten, but you do have to get rid of that regime. You got to get the nuclear dust back.
I mean, the one thing is, look, anybody could say, gee, we're going to drop a couple of mines in this rather narrow channel and, claim that, gee, they have power. Remember this. They said they were going to take over the Hormuz Strait, and when we thought they might have, we took it over from them. We have control. The one thing you can't stop, if somebody's going to want to drop a little mine in the middle and you happen to own $1 billion ship, I'm not sure you're going to be thrilled about sailing it up the harbor. So
they'll deal with it. You're taking all their oil. You're seizing their tankers out on the Indian Ocean. Who's that oil going to go to, Mr. President? Is that for the people of Iran when you eventually sell it?
Most of it comes back into the United States. Well, the people of Iran. So, look, if they had guns, which they don't have, if they had guns, guns were sent and other people took those guns. If they had guns, they would fight back. I'm convinced of that. But, you can't have an unarmed population against people with AK-47s and stand there, even if you have 250,000 people. So, you started off by asking me, would I like to see them? And I'm very torn on it because they lost 42,000 people in the first 2 weeks. I don't really want to see that. They have to have guns. And I think they're getting some guns. As soon as they have guns, they'll fight like as good as anybody there is. But when you have people that are armed and, they have very good weapons on the other side. Now, they've been depleted. A lot of the people fighting don't want to fight anymore. They're not getting paid anymore, from what I'm hearing, because we have obliterated them like in the military. We've done the same thing to them financially, economically. We don't think they're paying their soldiers and their guard anymore. So they've got a lot of problems. We'll see what happens.
Any signs that the regular army? Any signs that the regular army might march in and take over from the fanatics? They do have the regular army.
I guess we purposely have not gone after them too much because we think that they're much more moderate, actually. You know what I mean?
They're
a much more moderate group, and we're not looking to decimate the army. When they did Iraq, and the worst thing was they got rid of all the leaders, so nobody knew who the leader was, and then all of a sudden you had ISIS. We don't want to do that. The people running Venezuela right now, it's running incredibly, actually. It's so smooth. We've taken out many times in money, many times the cost of the war, prosecuting the war in Venezuela. And when was the last time you heard that? And when I say many times, like 25 times. And we get along great with the people. They respect us. They listen to us. And, Venezuela it's a happy country again. The people are happy. We have all the big oil companies moving in, spending a lot of money building rigs because their rigs were all depleted and gone, rusted out, closed for years and years.
Very serious question, Mr. President. Are you going to do for Cuba what you've done for Venezuela, bring in new leadership and free those people up to be happy again? Is Cuba on the line?
I don't really talk about Cuba too much other than to say that perhaps on the way back from Iran, as we finish that one, you'd like to do one after the other, right? But we'll stop the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier, the most gorgeous carrier I've ever seen. We'll stop the Abraham Lincoln a couple of 100 yards offshore, and we'll watch them wanting to do something. No, the people in Cuba, the country is devastated right now. It's just devastated. So it would be an honor to free it up. I got all the Cuban vote. I got 94% of the Cuban vote in the U.S., and, I have an obligation, frankly, to do something. It's what they did to the Cubans, what they did to the families of the people that are living in the United States is unthinkable. Very much like Iran in that way.
Now, Mr. President, before I run out of time, I want to ask you about the attempt on your life. And everyone who's listening, very grateful, very prayerful that you were not harmed. There have been 4 attempts on your life. First of all, I'm not going to ask you about the Shooter's Manifesto. I can't believe Nora O'Donnell did that. That was rehearsed, of course. They wanted you to walk off. Did you think about walking off?
No, because then you make it a bigger story, actually. She's terrible. She's interviewed me. She's a regular person that gets paid a lot of money. She's no different. I could get any woman off the street, practically, and they would do just as good a job as her. There's nothing special. And actually, as soon as she said the word manifesto, I said, here we go with the nonsense again. This is a sick guy, a really sick guy, a deranged guy, and he writes stuff. And I was none of those things and was never proven to be one of those things. And that you would say that was disgusting. And the problem with walking off, it's like it becomes a bigger story, and you don't want to have
I figure. Well, I was on Saturday with Aisha over on Fox, and she asked me, what about the Democrats? Because of Graham Plattner, and they got the El Sayed guy in Michigan and the Flanagan lady in Minnesota. I said, I think this is a direct quote, President Trump has broken the Democrats. I think they've lost the thread about serving the working man. Have you done that? Do you think you've broken the Democrats?
Well, I don't want to be the one to say it, but there is such a thing as Trump derangement syndrome, and nobody's seen ever anything like it. And part of it because we've really done well. Look at our stock market. It's at an all-time high in the middle of what some people could consider a war, okay? I don't consider it a big one, but it's still a war. And our stock market's at an all-time high. More people are working in the United States right now than at any time in the history of our country. And I could go list after list. We're drilling more oil. We are now doing more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that. Well, and very importantly, one of the reasons when I first did this, I thought maybe the market would go down 20 or 25%, and I was okay with that because I know it would come back up. But I thought it would go down, and I thought oil could hit $200, $250. Well, oil's at $100, $102, and you did too. Most people did. You know what? The genius of the whole thing is people have found ways around the Hormuz Strait. They're heading up to Texas. They're heading up to Alaska. They're heading up to Louisiana. And you see it. We see it through satellite. There are ships all over the ocean coming up. They find it. They find ways of just you can't go to Hormuz. They find it. Let's go to Texas. So it's just really sort of an amazing thing. They find ways of getting it done. So it's not going to be at 250 and 300. And the stock market, again, the stock market's at a record high.
And I think Republicans have got to put their arms around this and say, we've got to win in Iran. We're not worried about the midterms. Are you worried about the midterms? Because it's so much more important to win.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is that, I've gotten such, I won the Hispanic vote. Look at the votes I got. I got votes, and also I got traditional Republican, but I got votes that really have, along the Texas border. I won every single city and town along the Texas border to Mexico. No Republican has ever won one town. So the question is it transformable? And I will tell you, and I don't know your view on this. I listened to you, but I don't know your view on this, and I don't know why. But they have to terminate the filibuster so we can approve things.
Oh, we disagree, Mr. President. We disagree. We won't waste time on that. I'm afraid the Democrats will pass the Supreme Court.
But let me just ask you. You know the Democrats are going to do it, right?
No, I don't think they will. They say they talk a good game, but they don't deliver. They're not like you.
I think I'd win a lot of money from you, but that's okay.
No,
I don't mind if you say that, but I'm very surprised at you because I thought you were a brilliant man.
Well, I've always been for the filibuster. I'll argue it out with you, but more important, the people here,
they have to do the Save America Act, and if they do the filibuster, they do the Save America, and you have to have voter ID, and you have to have proof of citizenship.
I'm for that. I just want to win 60 Senate seats and do that. If we lose the House, Mr. President, they will impeach you. Does it bother you? They'll impeach you 4 times. Does that bother you?
Well, they'll impeach me like they did the last time, and now they want to overturn those impeachments because there was total nonsense. And what we've learned, even since, and look at all the stuff that's coming out now about all these people. It's a corrupt group of people, and the Republicans play much nicer. Okay,
yes,
they don't go around impeaching somebody. Joe Biden should be impeached. What he did was so bad. Now, in the case of Biden, he had no idea he was doing it. All right,
he should have been removed from office under the 25th.
With the Biden administration, he had some very smart lunatics circling him around that beautiful, as you know, the beautiful Oval Office and that incredible desk I sit behind. Hey, look, he had smart people, really radical left, and they would destroy the country. Open borders. To me, the biggest sin of all was allowing 25 million people into our country, murderers, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, and we're doing great with it despite the courts that are so stacked against us. We're doing great with it.
So let me ask you about...
I don't know, murders were down the lowest in 125 years, despite all of this.
I had out-of-town visitors down by National Stadium yesterday. They said, how is the National Guard working? It's beautiful. It's very, very nice. Let me ask you about the White House...
Washington now is one of the safest cities in the country.
Yes.
And a year ago, when I came in, it was one of the most unsafe places in the country to be. We took out 5,000 career criminals. And one stat, 2% of the people create 90% of the crime. And I love that stat because it means you can fix it. And we've done that wherever we go.
I know you have to run. You offered to the White House Correspondents Association to use the ballroom when it gets done. I'm just wondering, could they put a tent on the backyard? Would you let them do a tented thing on the South Lawn to do their dinner?
Well, we've done tents for years. Tents don't work, and when it rains, it's very wet land here. It's sort of marshland, and when it rains, it's brutal. It's you have a thing, and the water literally goes over their shoes. I would do it. I mean, more importantly for the future, we're building a room. It's ahead of schedule, on budget, ahead of schedule. It'll be one of the most beautiful and one of the safest ballrooms anywhere in the world, but it'll be one of the most beautiful ballrooms.
Mr. President, you know full well you can get a tent with a hardwood floor. Come on now. Hashtag, I've seen the aristocracy in action.
It's been needed for 150 years. And
I approve of the ballroom. I've been in the White House. I work for Reagan. There's no place to have a real dinner. It's a nightmare, and it's got to be safe. 2 final last fun questions, Mr. President, for your bio. If there's no McDonald's around, Burger King or Wendy's?
Well, I'll tell you, a friend of mine, he's sort of an old friend, but he's not really a friend anymore. I don't like him too much. But I've always liked Wendy's. I have liked Wendy's. But the person that controls it, I don't like him so much anymore, so I don't want to give him any. But Wendy's is pretty good.
Okay, and the last fun question.
I'll do that for old time's sake.
On par 5s, when you've had a good drive, do you always go for the green and 2, or do you lay up?
No. Well, it depends. I hit it good. I won 38 club championships, including seniors. That's a lot. But, it depends on the length. A lot of times, that's like strategy. Like, I knew a guy that you would have known. I won't mention his name. He went all the time, and that's his whole life was that. No, I don't always go for it. I think sometimes you're better off laying up for a wedge and being safe. Would I take the guaranteed par as opposed to risk it for a birdie? I would lay up a lot. But if I can
Don't
risk
take
it,
the
I
wedge
do.
on Iran, Mr. President. Hit for the green. Go for the green on Iran.
Well, I know how you feel, and I think you're going to be extremely happy when it all ends, and it shouldn't be that long. We're trying to be nice, but I know exactly. And some very, very smart people feel that you're right about that.
Well, it's the most important thing you've
Very
done in your 2
unreliable
terms.
people if you make a deal. You know?
Yeah, it's the most important thing you've done in 2 terms, and I applaud. I hope you
Wow.
just see it through.
Well, somebody should have done it long before I got here.
Yes.
47 years of this stuff, whether the SS Cole or what, you can mention 100 different things, and thousands of American lives, and thousands of kids are walking around. Now they're no longer kids, without arms, without legs, with a face that got blown to pieces because of Soleimani, who I killed.
Yep.
I killed Soleimani. That was another big one. I
Well,
did a
well,
lot, I did a lot.
Keep it going, Mr. President, because
I will.
it's the number one thing. Thank you for your
And you
time,
keep
sir.
it
I
going,
appreciate
too.
it.
And you're wrong about the filibuster, but other than that,
All right, so that was the latest from Mr. President. Okay, let me close that there. Let us get ready for the next part. All right, there we go. That was a lot of data. We're ready, folks. And guess what you're going to get? We're getting a press conference. It's your dear friend. Everyone loves Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, okay? There's no Lego videos mocking him or anything like that. So I promise you, as we get ready for the press conference, there are no Lego videos mocking the U.S. Secretary of
Yo.
War. Those don't exist.
Pete Hegseth, this one's specially for you. You punk ass rapist, bitch.
Oh, goodness.
Straight from Iran. Your tattoo covered clown with that cafe ink on your arm. Think you a crusader? Nah, just a drunk infidel in a fake uniform. Chain to kill all Muslims. Wasted in the hotel lobby. Sexual assault settlement in Monterey. Blocked the door, took a phone, paid her off quiet, cause Me Too was on. Now you secretary? What a joke, bro. Cheated on wives, multiple affairs, kids in the mix, family man, hell no. Handsy with women at Fox, drunk on the job. Your own team say, yo, this dude toxic. Couldn't even guard Biden's inauguration. Your own military said next. Book called American Crusade, dreaming holy war, but reality check. You just a failed vet, turned TV clown, slipping on your own mess. Trump picked you cause you kissed the ring, but wait, funny part ain't coming. The dude you sucking up to for that secretary gig, Trump himself was Bill Clinton's top cocksucker, giving blue jobs back in the day. Real talk, you out here blowing for access, but he the original BJ Queen. You thought our missiles max 2,000 kilometers? Cute, rookie mistake. We hitting the bow, worshiping Epstein Island crew, the ones who hurt the kids. Revenge for every American soul you and Trump's dirty crew oppressed and did. We taking payback for the girls you broke, the wives you broke, the Muslims you hate. Every victim screaming in the dark. Iran got you on the play. You threw everything at us, all your cards, all your might. We still operating on 10% power, laughing while you fight. We see everything, know every secret, every dirty Epstein link you hide. Where you least expected, in the shadows we ride, and no place to slide. This ain't full force, just a warm up, Persian flow with the rap. Pete, you done roasted raw. Iran sending this heat, feel the math. Drop the mic, infidel clown, we coming.
All right, that was the beep. The beep means they're getting ready to get started. That's the beep. I told you, the beep means they're getting ready to get started. I have been called to attention with the beep. I'm ready. Good morning. We're just covering this press conference, and I have to go to the doctor, and I'll be back. This press conference is with the Secretary of War and the chief of the, it might be the head of CENTCOM or the chief of the Joint Chiefs, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I don't remember. It's one of the two. It's either General Kane or Admiral Brad Cooper. It's probably Secretary of War and Admiral Cooper. Static Stones, I haven't opened my email yet because I went to bed right after stream, but I'll listen to it at the doctor today, my dear friend. I actually have a couple emails to reply to. Someone, my dear friend Dee Dee Thames, needs some help with like YouTube membership, so I'm going to reply to them too. You're also wonderful though. Good morning. It's so nice to see you. The beeps have alerted, so we have to just sit and watch this now. The beeps call us to attention for press conferences, thus we're here. All right. I'm glad we're all on the same page. We just kind of sit here, and then they'll walk out. All right, the beeps have beeped, so they've called us to attention. Those are the beeps letting us know the press conference is about to be called. It's military too, so when they say 8 a.m., they normally mean like 8 to 8:05 at the latest. This is a press conference though, so I don't control when they walk out. We just sit here, and when they start, they start. The point is to cover the press conference, so that's what we're doing. Alright, that's the press conference. I am a towel. Thank you very much. Okay, they're getting ready. This is normally a pretty orderly affair. Oh, DCALA2, enjoy your towel emojis. I told you it was an orderly affair. It's the military. They're always on time. Here we go. Press conference is starting, ladies and gentlemen. I have live coverage here on Towel News. I'm a towel. Thanks very much for watching. Hashtag Towel News. The best news. We have the best news. We have the best chairs. We have the best news. DCLA2, I am doing well. I'm ready for the press conference. I have chairs. The best chairs. I have the best press conferences. You know, the best chairs, the best press conferences. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is about to begin his press briefing. Live coverage. Oh, Rubio's doing a press briefing later as well at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll take coverage of that. Oh, God bless you, Bill Mayer, for those 6 chilies. I've always wanted some chilies. Those are great. Thank you very much. Should we listen to some song? Should we listen to some music as we wait for the press conference? Here's a good song. Press conference song. Oh, fuck Black Bear though. This is a remix. Fuck Black Bear. You know what I'm saying? 8 a.m. dance party. Let's go. This is what the news should be like. We should be dancing into press conferences. Let's go. Hi, Shannon. Tell girlfriend's here. She'd love to say hi. Here we go. Perfect intro song.
I'm through. That's that hot girl by my anthem. Turn it up and throw attention for you and you and you. Fuck you and you.
Well, as you know, President Trump has directed U.S. Central Command to restart the free flow of commerce through the Strait of Hormuz under the umbrella of Project Freedom. To be clear, this operation is separate and distinct from Operation Epic Fury. Project Freedom is defensive in nature, focused in scope, and temporary in duration, with one mission: protecting innocent commercial shipping from Iranian aggression. American forces won't need to enter Iranian waters or airspace. It's not necessary. We're not looking for a fight, but Iran also cannot be allowed to block innocent countries and their goods from an international waterway. Iran is the clear aggressor, harassing civilian vessels, threatening mariners from every nation indiscriminately, and weaponizing a critical choke point for its own financial benefit, or at least trying to. For too long, Iran has been harassing ships, shooting at civilian tankers from all nations, and trying to impose a tolling system. Iran's plan, a form of international extortion, is unacceptable. That ends with Project Freedom. 2 U.S. commercial ships, along with American destroyers, have already safely transited the strait, showing the lane is clear. We know the Iranians are embarrassed by this fact. They said they control the strait. They do not. So American ships led the way, commercial and military, shouldering the initial risk from the front, as Americans always do. And right now, hundreds more ships from nations around the world are lining up to transit. CENTCOM, along with partner nations, is in active communication with hundreds of ships, shipping companies, and insurers. All of these ships from all around the world want to get out of the Iranian trap that they have been stuck inside. As a direct gift from the United States to the world, we have established a powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. American destroyers are on station, supported by hundreds of fighter jets, helicopters, drones, and surveillance aircraft, providing 24/7 overwatch for peaceful commercial vessels. Except
Are we pirates or do we have a red, white, and blue dome? I'm confused.
Iran's, of course, which is why our ironclad blockade remains in full effect as well. In fact, 6 ships tried to run the blockade out of Iranian ports as Project Freedom commenced, and they were all turned around. This is more than strategy, it's also humanitarian. By breaking Iran's illegal stranglehold, we're protecting the lives and livelihoods of sailors from dozens of countries, securing global energy routes, and preventing shortages that hit the world's poorest people the hardest. Once again, America is using its strength to lift up others. Iran is trying to subjugate the world. To what remains of Iran's forces, if you attack American troops or innocent commercial shipping, you will face overwhelming and devastating American firepower. The president has been very clear about this. We prefer this to be a peaceful operation, but are locked and loaded to defend our people, our ships, our aircraft, and this mission without hesitation. To Iran, let innocent ships pass freely. These international waters belong to all nations, not to Iran to tax, toll, or control. To our partners, allies, and the rest of the world, this is a temporary mission for us. As I've said before, the world needs this waterway a lot more than we do. We're stabilizing the situation so commerce can flow again, but we expect the world to step up. At the appropriate time and soon, we will hand responsibility back to you. To the incredible Americans executing this mission right now, simply thank you. Your courage, your readiness, your unmatched professionalism and precision are why the world can breathe easier today and every day. You are and always will be the greatest fighting force in human history, unmatched always. Project Freedom is underway. Commerce will be flowing, and America is once again leading with strength, clarity, and purpose for the benefit of the entire world. Our will is unshakable. God bless our troops, and God bless the mighty United States Navy as well. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. On Sunday, at the direction of the President, CENTCOM initiated Project Freedom with the objective of facilitating the safe passage of international commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Over the past 7 weeks, Iran's repeatedly threatened and attacked commercial shipping in the Strait in order to effectively cut off commercial traffic and damage the global economy. By obstructing one of the world's most critical maritime checkpoints, a vital transit route for approximately 1/5 of the global oil consumption, Iran is weaponizing the global supply chain. This action disregards established navigational rights and the law of the sea, and the regime led by the IRGC is effectively attempting to hold the entire global economy hostage. Let me give you an update of the last few days of activities, and if you take a look at the map here, as the Secretary said, the United States has established Project Freedom to open up the Strait of Hormuz. This graphic highlights the kinetic engagements that the Iranians have attempted to make or have taken against global economy here. As the Secretary said, the United States has established Project Freedom to open up the Strait of Hormuz. This graphic highlights the kinetic engagements that the Iranians have attempted to make or have taken against the region. The green dots and blue dots show the groupings of commercial, cargo, and tanker vessels. And the United States has established a significant presence over the strait here in order to open up the free flow of commerce, noting the blockade still continues along the eastern flank. The map shows the examples and samples of Iranian attacks against commercial vessels in the strait, as well as the Gulf of Oman and up in the Arabian Gulf. Since the ceasefire was announced, Iran has fired at commercial vessels 9 times and seized 2 container ships, and they've attacked U.S. forces more than 10 times, all below the threshold of restarting major combat operations at this point. You can also see the group of tankers and cargo vessels in the U.S. blockade line, as I mentioned. As a result of Iran's indiscriminate attacks across the region, there are currently 22,500 mariners embarked on more than 1,550 commercial vessels trapped in the Arabian Gulf, unable to transit. In addition to shipping, Iran has continued to deliberately attack its neighbors. Just yesterday, Iran attacked Oman once and the UAE 3 times, including an attack on Fujairah oil terminal, which was successfully defeated. They also launched cruise missiles, drones, small boats at U.S. forces defending commercial shipping in the Straits, and United States Navy MH-60 helicopters and Army AH-64 Apache helicopters successfully defeated those threats. Thus far, today is quieter. Let me describe this defensive operation just a few clicks down for you. As the Secretary said, Project Freedom is designed to protect commercial shipping and help restore the flow of commerce through the Strait and sustain freedom of navigation. CENTCOM has established an enhanced security area on the southern side of the Strait that is now protected by U.S. land, naval, and air assets to help defeat further Iranian aggression against commercial shipping. I'd like to share a little bit more about U.S. capabilities, but for operational security purposes, I'm not going to get into specific details out there. On the surface, guided missile destroyers and other warships are detecting and defeating Iranian threats. This includes fast boats and one-way attack drones. In the air, more than 100 fighters, attack aircraft, and other manned and unmanned aircraft, synchronized by the 82nd Airborne Division, are in the air 24 hours a day, providing defensive overwatch for the enhanced security area and its approaches that I discussed. These forces are comprised of over 15,000 American service members and have established localized air and sea control to protect against Iranian threats. Commercial vessels that transit through the area will see, hear, and frankly feel U.S. combat power around them on the sea, in the skies, and on the radio. And as of this morning, as was mentioned prior, 2 U.S. flag merchant vessels have transited, and we anticipate more to transit over the coming days. Further up the Gulf, U.S. Naval Forces Central Command continues to work to identify and mitigate any threats. Beyond Project Freedom, CENTCOM and the rest of the Joint Force remain ready to resume major combat operations against Iran if ordered to do so. No adversary should mistake our current restraint with a lack of resolve. And the President has said, as the Secretary has, that now is the time for those with equity stake in the Strait to come assist. Before I turn it back to the Secretary, I want to take a moment to highlight part of our joint force today. And today I want to talk about the paratroopers of the United States Army 82nd Airborne Division. When the President or the Secretary need immediate, scalable, and lethal combat power in CENTCOM or elsewhere, the All-American Division answers the call. The 82nd is the core of our nation's immediate response force and ready to deploy within hours of notice. These paratroopers are capable of accomplishing any mission in any environment, constantly training, constantly ready to jump from Air Force aircraft into ground combat and seize key terrain if ordered to do so, just like their predecessors did in Sicily and Normandy in World War II, or to secure or enable the follow-on forces to flow into theater as they did in Grenada or Panama. They can do the range of missions from counterinsurgency to counterterrorism operations to power projection, as they have many times over the course of the history of this great division. They can do all these things because they're incredibly well-trained, well-equipped, and well-led, but also because of the indomitable spirit of the All-American paratrooper. Every single one of them volunteered for this role, volunteered to go to airborne training, and volunteered to serve. But this division is now more than just a formation that we use for forcible entries. For example, just today, they are out there coordinating, integrating, and synchronizing land, air, space, sea, and cyber forces using joint all-domain command and control. They use next-generation tactical networks that are AI-enabled to augment intelligence and operations, and they seamlessly synchronize all of these effects and are doing so in support of Project Freedom as we speak. The relentless focus on technical innovation allows the commanders out there in the field to see, sense, and understand the opportunities that are in front of them, along with the associated risks, and make smart decisions out on the objective. With incredible courage, tenacity, and grit, they are going all the way every day, and whenever the nation calls on them, they are there to answer the call. We are grateful for their service and their leadership. Lastly, before I close, as I often do, I want to remember some of our fallen. Today, we remember Sergeant William Rivers, Specialist Brianna Moffett, and Specialist Kennedy Sanders of the 718th Engineering Company, U.S. Army Reserves, out of Fort Benning, Georgia. They were tragically killed on January 28th, 2024, when attacked by an Iranian-backed proxy force at Tower 22 in Jordan. We continue to carry on their memories. We remember their names. We remember their families. And the Secretary and I are deeply grateful for all of our deployed forces who are out there doing our nation's work. And sir, with that, I'll kick it back over to you.
Very good. We'll take a few questions. Go ahead.
Thank you. Alexandra Ingersoll, One America News. Do you assess, Mr. Secretary, do you assess what's left of this small boat fleet to be a significant threat or a nuisance to be managed? And then secondly, what is your message to critics who say that the U.S. doesn't have a strategy in this mission?
Well, any threat needs to be taken seriously. And just like those 6 attack boats that the chairman mentioned were taken seriously and dealt with before there were any real threat to the American military vessels that they were approaching. And that is small craft like that are all that Iran has left. Their ability to get close with a destroyer of the capabilities that we have is limited, but we're going to take it very seriously and kinetically, quickly. We're not going to allow a threat to gather. And I can tell you, even from just this morning, the strategy remains laser focused. In fact, what I think you see from Project Freedom is that we're not allowing ourselves to get distracted. This is a separate and distinct effort, temporary in nature, that we plan to hand over to the world. The world has
An earthquake has just struck in Kuwait in the last hour.
expressed a desire to be a part of this. As is often the case, or maybe almost always the case, American leadership is required. So the president was willing to undertake this, send commercial ships through, send destroyers in, provide this red, white, and blue bubble of protection, and encourage the world to step up. Because ultimately, this waterway is, as I said, far more crucial to the rest of the world, and they need to have the ability to defend it. So I think this is a reflection of a laser-focused strategy, actually. Right here.
Morning, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman. David Zia, Real America's Voice. I wanted to ask you of any of the fast boats that have been either sunk or identified, are there any armaments larger than, say, small, AK-47 type stuff, or any anti-ship cruise missiles identified? And my second question is, if there's a divide between the IRGC and Tehran, is there a way to get Tehran to agree to let us go after the IRGC that is doing these attacks without violating the ceasefire?
Well, right now, anything coming at our crafts, regardless of what's on it, has to be defended against, and that's the case. I don't know what the exact armaments that were on those fast boats.
Small arms, nothing significant on the fast boats.
Rifles or small machine guns. There were some small coastal cruise missiles shot down as well. So there's some frothiness in the beginning aspects of this that were dealt with very directly by our destroyers, and we're communicating both overtly and quietly to the Iranians to allow this defensive operation to happen on behalf of the world. There are some actions the IRGC takes sometimes that are outside the bounds of what maybe Iranian negotiators would like. That's their job to rein that in and ultimately create a condition for a deal, right? That's not something I talked about in these remarks, but that's happening in real time. Iran has an ability to make that deal. But what we're demonstrating with Project Freedom is they don't control the strait. I mean, we know Iran is embarrassed by the fact that our blockade is holding, and we can run ships through, and we're going to help the world run ships through. And if they hold it at issue, the whole world knows who's doing it. It's not us. We're willing to open it up. It's Iran, and that creates a dilemma for them. We hope they make a deal. Yes.
Thank you, sir. My first question is for General Kane. Mary Margaret with the Daily Wire. You said that the attacks by Iran so far are below the threshold of restarting major combat operations. What is that threshold? And then for Secretary Hegseth, are there still concerns about mines in the Strait? And can you kind of clarify these reports of kamikaze dolphins that we've heard about?
I haven't heard the kamikaze dolphin thing. It's like sharks with laser beams, right? The threshold of restarting is a political decision above my pay grade. What I'll say is it's more low harassing fire right now. It feels like Iran is grasping at straws to try to do something across the southern flank. To your question, David, their command and control structure remains very fractured, and I think they're struggling to maintain control down echelon at the edge, but it's still pretty low level kinetics at this point in time.
And I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't. Ultimately.
What?
Control down echelon at the edge, but it's still pretty low level kinetics at this point.
My name is Grant Smith. Hello, my name is Grant Smith Ellis with Towel News, youtube.com/@GrantSmithEllis. I have breaking news for you. The U.S. Secretary of War has confirmed that Iran does not have kamikaze dolphins in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. Secretary of War was also not able to confirm or deny whether the U.S. has kamikaze dolphins. Hashtag save the dolphins. Take a listen.
Point in time.
And I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't.
All right, you heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. I can neither confirm nor deny whether the U.S. military has kamikaze dolphins in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, you may be saying to yourself, was the Secretary of War joking? You may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, I can't tell whether or not that was a joke. Well, that's what you get in the modern fog of war. Hashtag, are the kamikaze dolphins real? We know that birds are real. I went outside, I checked for myself. But are the kamikaze dolphins real? It's the question on everyone's mind. Not, is the U.S. going to attack Iranian infrastructure and oil ports as a result of the Iranian attacks on the UAE yesterday? Not, is Israel preparing to open its shelters? Not, are Americans being ordered by the U.S. Embassy to leave Baghdad and other areas of Iraq? Not, is the airspace in Qatar and Kuwait and Bahrain and the UAE partially closed? No, the question on everyone's mind are, what is the status of the American kamikaze dolphins in the Strait of Hormuz? Hashtag, that's the blue, red, and white dome. It's not actually missile destroyers, it's kamikaze dolphins. I knew it. Hashtag save Flipper. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Thanks for watching Towel News. I'm going to post that on Twitter.
Ultimately, any follow-on effort, if there are mines identified, would be something that some of our units could undertake or the world could undertake. But right now, we know we have a lane of safe passage that commercial shipping can flow through.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. The last 24 hours or so, Iran's fired at us. We fired at Iran. I'm just going to ask you more directly: is the ceasefire over?
No, the ceasefire is not over. Ultimately, this is a separate and distinct project, and we expected there would be some churn at the beginning, which happened. And we said we would defend aggressively, and we absolutely have. Iran knows that, and ultimately, the president's going to make a decision whether anything were to escalate into a violation of a ceasefire. But certainly, we would urge Iran to be prudent in the actions that they take to keep that underneath this threshold. This is about the straits. This is about freedom of navigation. This is about international waterways. This is about free flow of commerce, all the things that happened before, and only Iran is contesting. So right now, the ceasefire certainly holds, but we're going to be watching very, very closely. Absolutely.
Secretary
James, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, thank you. General, thank you. I want to first express my gratitude and admiration for the work you do and for everyone involved in our armed forces, and also for the accomplishments of Operation Epic Fury, which I think are too often dismissed too lightly. But those accomplishments don't obscure, I think, a central default that has occurred here, and I would like you both to address it. On the first day of this conflict, President Trump addressed the Iranian people directly and said, when we're finished, take over your government. It'll be yours to take. And then on the seventh day of the conflict, in a Truth Social post, the president said, quote, there will be no deal with Iran except, all caps, exclamation mark, unconditional surrender. What happens to that pledge to the Iranians? And when did the president decide to capitulate on his demand for unconditional surrender?
Well, James, I wouldn't. You started out nicely, but you ended exactly where we knew you would end. The president hasn't capitulated on anything. He holds the cards. We maintain the upper hand, and Project Freedom only strengthens that hand. And so he will ensure that whatever deal is made or whatever end state is reached creates ensuring that Iran never has a nuclear weapon, which is number one, and he's been focused on that, and the deal and discussions are centered on that. And what the Iranian people take advantage of after the fact is up to them, and he's been very clear about that. And maybe you do it now, maybe it happens later, but ultimately he's also been clear, we're not going to entangle this into some nation-building project. Our objectives are clear. They've been pursued from day one. Hopefully the Iranian people take advantage of that because they're being taken advantage of by this regime. As you know, 45,000 Iranians, innocent Iranians, killed before the outset of this. That's what this government does, kills their own innocent civilians. Getting out from underneath that is going to be a challenge of the Iranian people, and we certainly hope they take advantage of that. Thank you.
Can I have one follow, please?
Go ahead.
If I may.
Everybody else
one follow.
follows directives. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Can you share any information regarding the South Korean ship that was reportedly hit by Iran? Is Seoul in contact with the U.S. military about it? And is there any indication that they would heed Trump's call made on social media to join Project Freedom?
We hope so. We're in contact with that ship, CENTCOM, I should say, and the Maritime Coordination Forces are in touch. And I think targeting like that is a reflection of the indiscriminate nature of what Iran is doing. We hope South Korea would step up, just like we hope Japan would step up, just like we hope Australia would step up, just like we hope Europe steps up. But we're not waiting for them to do so. We're looking to set the conditions to hand to them. But the president was clear in his truth message that, hey, this is your ship. You should take part in helping to defend it. We very much hope they do. James, go ahead.
Mr. Secretary, in terms of new U.S. intelligence reports suggest that the timeline for the war in Iran to get a nuclear weapon has not changed since last summer, still at 9 to 12 months. Is that intelligence wrong? How can this be after so much bombing? And for General Kane, going on back onto what you're talking about the Strait of Hormuz, the president recently said that the blockade is even more effective than bombing. So why didn't we start the campaign with the blockade? And initially, how many planned ships do you plan to escort or take through commercial ships to the Strait of Hormuz today or in the coming days?
Well, we don't discuss the specifics about intel, and anybody that does shouldn't be, and I can't confirm or deny whether that is indeed correct. Speculation, as far as I'm concerned, coming from you. But ultimately, what Operation Midnight Hammer did in the obliteration of those facilities was set back their program. And then, because of the efforts of that 12-day war, the president was able to recognize that this threat, while they continued to seek nuclear capabilities, their will was still there to seek a nuclear bomb. Ultimately, they were creating a conventional umbrella of so many missiles and so many capabilities that no one would want to challenge them. Think of the North Korea. This is the North Korea strategy. We have so many conventional capabilities, you won't do something about it. And underneath that, we're going to develop more nuclear capabilities. So the will was still there. President Trump had the courage to say we have to dismantle and take on those conventional capabilities while the nuclear facilities are watched 24/7 and overwatched. And we will ensure one way or another, hopefully Iran chooses a deal, that they give up those ambitions, give up those capabilities, and we're able to confirm that every step of the way. So that has been, President Trump's been focused on it. He's set them back like no other president. He ripped up the terrible deal that would have given them a bomb. He took care of it in Midnight Hammer. We're watching it right now, and ultimately feel good about the fact that the end state will ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. Go ahead.
Sir, I'll let CENTCOM talk to the number of ships they're going to take through because they're the nearest ones to talking to the commercial shippers, and I don't want to get out in front of them. On the order and sequence around the military objectives, that's a decision the President and the Secretary go get us at, and at the time we were focused on the primary objectives that were in front of us. Thank you.
Ryan Morgan with the Epic Times. On Friday, President Trump notified Congress that the hostilities that began on February 28 had terminated. That came on the deadline of the 60-day war powers deadline. Will this administration be seeking congressional approval for any further military operations if the ceasefire breaks down?
Our view is the one you described, that ultimately with the ceasefire, the clock stops. If it were to restart, that would be the president's decision. That option is always there, and Iran knows that, and that's why their choices in Project Freedom are important. The president retains the opportunity and the capabilities, more capabilities than we had at the start of this, to restart major combat operations if necessary. If Iran is not willing to follow through on its side of the bargain or make a deal, then the War Department is postured, locked, loaded, and ready to go. We hope it doesn't have to go in that direction, but Admiral Cooper and our forces are in a three-point stance and ready to go. Yeah, last question.
Thank you. Liam Cosgrove with Zero Hedge. In recent weeks, both Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel's head of Mossad have stated their intent not to cease combat with the Iranians. Netanyahu put this on Twitter. Israel's head of Mossad said Israel's goals are not finished until the Iranian government collapses. And so they're referring to the government that President Trump has brokered a ceasefire with and is working on a lasting peace in the region with. And so that's something many Americans, especially American farmers, are hoping he does get to a lasting peace. And so if President Trump is successful in that and the Israelis are explicitly stating their intent to continue fighting at a later date, how can you ensure America doesn't get roped back into a war if that comes? And secondly, with Netanyahu comfortable tweeting something like that out, and also Netanyahu has continued bombing Lebanon despite President Trump explicitly
I would say your
telling him
question
not
is
to.
based on the false premise that somehow President Trump is being pulled in by Prime Minister Netanyahu to any of these actions. And that's where you're going. Just to be clear, President Trump has led at every step of this based on his view of American interest and America first. And we're grateful that Israelis have been very capable partners at many steps of this. And they may have some objectives at times that are slightly different than ours. But there's only one hand on the wheel ultimately directing this, whether it's Project Freedom or previously Operation Epic Fury, and it's President Trump. So we're grateful for their input, their insights, the existential nature of the threat they face from an Iranian bomb, the capabilities that they can bring to that, but ultimately the coordination will happen with the leadership of President Trump. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Right. Well, that was not a good sign. Mr. Secretary of War didn't even want to let the question get out about Lebanon. Let's take a look. I got the video in Munstan. I got the video, my dear friend. Yes, Towel found the video. Hashtag I am a towel. So I got to get ready to go to the doctor. I will restart the stream later today. I just have to go to the doctor. First, I want to show you footage from Ukraine, from Russia, Chelyabinsk Oblast, where a Ukrainian drone has crashed into an apartment building. Take a look. If it wants to play nice. Not all the videos play nice, especially when they're just uploaded. Come on now. You can do it. I actually have another way to play it for you, but I will play it for you after I go to the doctor. Some of these videos on the Twitter buffer don't always go up right away. Let me take you, though, to the video that I wanted to show in Munstan. I got it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I went and got it for in Munstan. I'm going to find it. Here it is. I have it from the Iraqi resistance. From the Mujahideen for the Islamic resistance in Iraq. It's the Blood Guardians. It's for in Munstan. There was no pirate music, but they're certainly ready. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. I must sign you off with that for the day. You might be saying to yourself, why, Tal, why? Well, I gotta go to the doctor. I might be able to give you one short song, okay? I'll give you one short song as an outro, but then I gotta go. I have a doctor's appointment. God bless all of you. Yeah, that was a Trixler. That was more of a we have missiles ready video. That was their underground drone facility. That was not them actually launching. That was them saying, we're about to launch. Silent Dogs is like, you gotta cheer them on. Well, more power to you, Silent Dogs. All right, we need a song to get out of here. You know what's coming. I think we need our traditional ending song. I like to end my streams, even though it's not the end of your broadcast day. I like to end my songs. I like to end my streams with this. So give me 1 second. You have no choice. I got a towel playing. Watch this. All right, we'll get rid of that. Watch my towel playing in action. I'm a towel. I'm a genius towel. I know. I'm a genius. All right, what's going on? All right, let's get rid of this. All right. Oh, I know what it is. It's this thing. All right. I need to find my song here. Where is it? Where is my song? Where is it? You know exactly what I want to listen to. It might not be on that page. I'm going to find it. Then I got to get out of here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. All right. I got to get you this. Hold on. You know I like to end the same way every day. Why? Because I am a towel. All right. So let me get this all prepared for you. Give me 1 second. Alright, would you be so kind? Thank you very much. We don't need to actually play, I just need you to do this. Alright, very good. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll play you out with this. I'll see you all later today. My name is Grant Smith Ellis. Thank you for watching Towel News. Look for a way to help those around you today. Thank you for tuning in for this breakfast stream. God bless you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh, you're wonderful, and God bless you, oh sweet nothing. You all have so much for watching this morning's Breakfast with Towel. My name is Grant Smith Ellis, signing off at 8:40 a.m. for now, Eastern, U.S., not really ceasefire time. Here in Boston, it is 2:40 p.m. in South Africa, it's 3:40 p.m. in Tel Aviv, Israel, and it's 4:10 p.m. in Tehran, Iran. What awaits us today, who knows? It is Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Signing off for now, Grant Smith Ellis with Towel News. God bless you all.